Okay. There you go.
All right. Well, let us introduce ourselves real quick. We are with AvidXchange. My name is Tiffany Gave. I am a senior recruiter here on our early careers team. And here with me, I have my partner in crime, Deanna. I'll have her introduce herself real quick.
She's really downplaying it. She's my partner in crime, my backbone, my spine, my right hand. So my name is Deanna. Feel free to call me D. I am the talent acquisition program manager here for our early career talent programs, which is inclusive of internship opportunities as well as co-op. Whereas Tiffany is the project manager and drives everything and all things internship experience at AvidXchange. So excited to be here, as her partner, but at the same time, as a support to really what we're looking for and, sharing more about who we are with each of you. So thank you for joining.
Yes. And to piggyback off of that, that's what we're here to talk to you about today. Our internship program, tell you a little bit more about who AvidXchange is, the program itself, and what we're looking for. And what you can see on the slide here under our beautiful pictures is the departments that we'll be looking to place interns in this year. So we have roles anywhere from computer science and engineering all the way through our business operations, think finance, human resources, and everything in between. So here just listing out some of what those potential roles could be in. So if you've not heard of us, this is the time to learn about who we are. So AvidXchange, you can see here, we talk about our mission and our purpose. Our mission is really what we do. So our goal is to transform the way that the middle market pays and receives their bills. At the end of the day, what we're here to do is just eliminate the paper check and invoice for our customers in a simple way by automating their systems. But behind that is really our purpose. That's why we do it, is to realize our potential, fulfill dreams, and then win big together. And we think about that and how we do that is with our teammates. Those are all of the folks that work at AvidXchange, the customers, our shareholders, and then also the communities that our teammates work and live in as well. So we'll touch on that a little bit more, but that is really why we are doing what we're doing. So you probably ask yourself, what is the middle market? So let's talk about that a little bit more and what we do. So I can't see any of your faces, but I am going to just assume that you have never heard of the fintech industry, and we're going to pretend like that's the case. So to answer that, what is fintech? So it's two words combined together, financial technology. And what that does, you think about cryptocurrency, that is financial technology, something that's a little bit more familiar to most people these days. Online banking, really anything that you're moving money around in a technology space, that's fintech. The way that financial technology does that is really just leveraging software and applications, different technologies to improve and then automate the way that you're moving money around. So here are just some different examples of what that looks like. If you're using a mobile app for your banking, again, cryptocurrency. If you're using a different website to do like a 401k, any sort of wealth management, those are all different examples of financial technology, and we live in that world.
You want to keep this one bypass?
We can bypass this. So we like to think that we're transforming the middle market for our business to business customers in the way that they're processing their payments. We chose a specific market, that middle market, as our customer base and who we wanted to go after to help improve their process. And the way that we do that are through some different examples here. Leveraging a network that we call AvidPay, which is a two-sided network to implement their payment processing. Also some different uses here, AP automation. You'll learn more about this along the way. But really at the end of the day, what we're doing is trying to just build a team that is a true team. You've heard me use the term teammates, but we are driving a win as a team culture here to really impact the way that our customers improve their processes on their end.
Let me take the next one.
Yeah.
All right, so when you think about the service model of AvidXchange, we have essentially 9 core products that are built into our products and services. I am sure, unless you are on this call and you are in accounting or you've ever worked in the accounting industry, I'm about 99% sure that you've actually never used our products. And the reason that is because, again, we are a business-to-business solution. So think of us as Venmo for businesses, right? Marketing would kill me if they see this recording. So we're gonna make sure that stays between us in this room, okay? So again, the structure of our business is actually business to business. And the best way to think about us from a consumer standpoint is we are paying the bills for our customers. So what does that look like? It's a 2-sided network. I'm sure many of you have actually gotten into an Uber before, and Uber uses the same type of structure where they have a driver customer and then they have the rider customer. So AvidXchange is going to have a buyer and a supplier, and everything really starts and stops with our supplier. So a supplier typically has an invoice that needs to be paid. So they scan that, they actually send the suppliers send their invoices to their buyer customer, which is the organization that has opted in to automate accounts payable leveraging AvidXchange's platform. That buyer then is responsible for looking over the purchase order, making sure that it is approved for submission to pay, and then they have an online portal where they're able to scan the invoice into our automated system for review and payment of a receipt, which there syncs up with accounting systems. So I'm sure many of you have heard of QuickBooks, you've heard of Intuit. Those are some of the 2 biggest accounting systems that we integrate with. From the integration with the accounting system, the buyer now is responsible for approving the payment. And it is critical that the buyer approves the payment because, again, we move millions of dollars around daily. But we cannot move that money until we have the approval to send the payment. That then is matched with one of the options that the suppliers have chosen to get paid from, which is typically an automated direct deposit. We do have a partnership with MasterCard for virtual credit card processing. And on occasions, we make it painful for our customers to still get a paper check because, again, our goal is to eliminate the need for paper-based products. But at the same time, that is still a third option for our customers to get paid. So again, the supplier is either going to receive a virtual credit card, their payment, they're going to receive automatic direct deposit, or we will also print a check that they receive within 10 days. So then from there, the last product service offering that we provide is to our suppliers, which allows for the suppliers to actually have access to the same information that the buyer customers have. It allows for them to accelerate any of the cash flow needs that they may have, because we all know the number one need of businesses is cash flow management. And so this portal allows for our suppliers to be able to seamlessly look at any invoices that have been submitted, where are they at in the approval and payment process, but then also gives them the opportunity for supplier lending for cash flow if they need to accelerate any of their payments sooner than the expected net terms of payout. And then this slide here is just, again, I mentioned we have 9 products. Just to kind of put into perspective the growth that AvidXchange has had. When I joined, we actually only had those first 4. So AvidBuy, AvidInvoice, AvidPay, AvidUtility. I've been with AvidXchange for 4 years. So we've grown our products and services immensely. Again, we only had 600,000 buyers that were on our platform when I joined, and 6,000 buyers, 600,000 suppliers. Today we have 8,000 buyers and 800,000 suppliers. I always mix those 2 numbers up. Nonetheless, we're hyper growth, we're growing. And again, our products and services is really centered around creating efficiencies within the accounting industry. So before we go into teammates and culture, we'll just pause real quick just to make sure you guys are picking up what we're putting down. We know that this is a completely new business model and structure for you. So does anyone have any questions? Specifically around who we are and what we do.
I don't see anything in the chat right now, but people can come off mute if you have questions.
Heard one come on.
Matt, I think I heard you come off mute, or Robert. I just can't tell which one it was. All right, well, we'll keep going. All right, so our teammates and culture. I'll turn it back over to Tiff.
So I know all of you at WGU are all over the United States. We are all over the United States as well. Here's just a map of where we sit in the United States. Deanna and myself are seated in our Charlotte headquarter office right now. That's where the bulk of our teammates are. But we do have offices throughout the United States. You can see here, Salt Lake City really represents our West Coast office primarily, but then throughout there, we do have remote teammates in all of those additional states as well. So we are nationwide. So we get this question a lot when we talk to students or different candidates who are asking us the question, what are you looking for in a candidate? What are you looking for in an intern? This is the same answer for whether you're an intern, the CEO of this company. And you can think of this as more of like your soft skills answer. We look for those who represent our mindsets. We broke them up into, you know, what does it mean to embody AvidXchange teammate? We call ourselves AvidXers here. And these are the three mindsets that all of our teammates really own and represent. And one of those is being connected as people. We like to think that we're more than just a technology company. You heard about our purpose. We're really a people company. And being able to show, you know, the way that you're able to build relationships, work with others, be a real teammate. That is one of the biggest things. Additionally, being able to show that you have a growth mindset. We always say that we have an entrepreneurial mindset. So every person walking these buildings and on our team really is able to show the way that they're continuing to learn and develop in whatever way that shows up for them, and how they're just constantly learning and growing themselves professionally and personally. And then lastly, being able to show that you're customer obsessed. It doesn't matter what role you have at any organization, you have a customer. Right now, you are all our customer. So how are you showing that you are customer obsessed? The way that you show up with customer service and passionate about the people that you're supporting and working with. Those are the three biggest things that we're looking at. So you can jot that down, take a picture. When you think, what are those soft skills? How can you answer the way that you show up in those mindsets there? Again, you can keep hearing us talk about teammates. We are a big team. Teammates is who we are. For 2 years in a row, we have been awarded a great place to work. So you can see some of our teammates here celebrating that at one of our events. But the way that we do that, again, is through working and winning as a team. We do that through impacting our communities as well. We have a very large AvidXchange Foundation where we are impacting the communities where we all work and live, not only in our offices, but if you're a remote teammate, what that looks like for you and getting out in your community and making a difference. And then also being able to show up with a diverse and inclusive mind, but really taking it to the next step of, do you feel like you belong? I think that's the biggest one that we always like to hone in on. Of when you show up and on these teams and in these walls, do you feel like you truly belong? And when we belong, we're able to do our best work. So those are some of the big things that we hone in there to make our teammates feel like they're on a real team. I talked about briefly our AvidXchange Foundation. Again, we impact all of the communities that we live in. Charlotte obviously being our biggest one, with this being our headquarters. One real big thing that we do every year is participate in an event called Tech Rising. And in there, we partner with some of our underserved members in the community. And one of our biggest partners is called E2D here in Charlotte, where they refurbish laptops and then give them out to those in need in the Charlotte area. So today you can see how many laptops that we've given back to the community. As what this is a technology company, you would be surprised to know how many people do not have access to that. So it's important for us to give back to our communities, and especially a way that we work. So big reason that we're all here today is to talk about our internship experience. This is mine and Deanna's baby. This is our biggest early career program that we have, and we're excited to be going into our 10th year of our internship program. So to give you a little bit of an overview of what that experience looks like, we are really aiming to give you a hands-on learning experience and develop your career, that you're able to bring that into a full-time role. We're not having anybody go and get coffee. You're working on real life work that our teammates are continuing to work on post internship. So it's a really exciting program for teammates to get involved in. It's a 9-week program. This 10th year will be starting on June 2nd, 2024. And going for 9 weeks until the beginning of August, so 9-week term during the summer. And right now we do only offer a summer internship program. Our learning experience through the program, we call them our pillars, what have you, but these are things that we want you to take away from the internship program. Is really, we gave you the smallest snapshot of what our business is, but during that time, really being able to understand and learn what our business is and what do we do, how do we do it. Again, real small snapshot of our culture, but we want you to understand the culture by living it with us during that time, where you're involved in different sessions, meeting our CEO, you're going to meetup group events, you're going to any AvidXchange teammate events, so that way you can be a part of what the culture is and really learn it. Building relationships, that's one of our mindsets we told you. So fostering those for you, giving you opportunities to build relationships, network, get a mentor throughout your 9 weeks as well, so that way you can continue to develop and grow, whether that is personally, professionally. You're going to learn on the job, the role that you're doing, but really it's an opportunity for you as an individual to continue to grow as well. And then lastly, we round out our program with a capstone presentation. We've done it in a cool way this last year, where we have our teammates really do it in a showcase fashion, rather than presenting in PowerPoint. You are presenting in a room of folks who get to come in and have interactive conversation with you on what you've been working on this year or over the 9 weeks that you're with us, but really being able to show how you drove enterprise value across teams throughout the organization and what that showed up and how you're making an impact and leaving a lasting impression at AvidXchange. I saw a couple questions pop in through the chat, and we will certainly get to those. But let's wrap up here. Maybe your question will be answered in some of this that we've got for you here. So this is a cute little picture of our last year's cohort. No worries. But this is a group of 20. Again, they did a cross-functional cohort where they were working on enterprise value presentations. But this is our contact information. I would go ahead and write that down. So any additional questions or follow-ups that you have, this will be the contact that you'll want to reach out to after. It's careers@avidexchange.com.
I'm going too fast.
No,
sorry. I am not a good navigator.
No worries. So I mentioned, we get the question of what are you looking for in a candidate? What's going to make me stand out? Here's some tips and tricks to kind of help you guide through that mind or that thought process. Number one, and you're doing a lot of this right now just by being here. So first is just research the business and the customer. So if AvidXchange is a place that you're interested in interning or potentially working in a full-time capacity in the future, we again gave you a snapshot of our business here. Take it upon yourself to go and learn a little bit more about our business. Who are our customers? What are we getting involved in? There's plenty of information out there for you to continue to learn about what we do. Think about setting some clear goals for what you want. If the internship program is something that you're interested in being involved in, what do you hope to get out of it? We've got some guidelines and goals that we hope that you get out of it, but every individual is going to take away something different. So what does that look like for you? So that way you can then ask us those questions if we're going to meet those goals. As much as we will be interviewing you, if you're interested, you've heard the term, you're going to be interviewing us as well. So think about what that looks like for yourself. Make sure that you're leveraging your resources and building a network. Kristen is a great person to be connected with, who works with Deanna and myself. Use her, ask her questions, but then also reach out to, Deanna and myself and ask questions before you get yourself involved in the interview process. So that way you can learn more, and connect with, hiring managers, those folks who are going to be able to help answer questions in your network. Career prep and readiness. Think about how you can get yourself ahead of the game in interview practice, behavioral interview prep. I'm sure that WGU offers some different assistance in getting yourself prepared for interviewing. But then lastly, making sure that you stay engaged and connected. We meet many folks who are interested in this program. We got over about 2,000 applications last year for our program. Only 20 people get to come and be a part of this experience. So how are you staying engaged and connected with the team and showing your interest? So that way you can really stand out and be a part of the team.
All right, so I'll give Tiffany a quick break and I'll run through some of these. I know that one of the questions, Kristen, was around location. Is that correct? I've seen a couple pop in the chat.
Yeah.
Yes, they asked about remote opportunities.
Okay, awesome. So this is where we will answer that for you. So from an application period, you will actually see all of the positions that we're going to have posted by business department. I would say business domain as of this coming Friday. Applications are going to set to close in October, but that will be contingent upon the applicant volume that we receive. As Tiffany mentioned, annually we run on average of 2,000 applicants for all of the roles that we're recruiting for, but we only have a cohort of 20, maybe 25 this coming summer. So I just want to make sure that we're also being mindful of the touch point and the experience that we create with being able to follow up with candidates that are interested in us, but also my recruiters, engagement with the overall process. Because again, at AvidXchange, everything is centered around, are we thinking about our teammate, but are we also thinking about our candidate? Our candidates are our customers. So where do you need to apply? You're going to see our postings on Handshake. If you have a separate college university job portal, typically some schools are not on Handshake, so you're going to see them there. Our social job boards, but the best go-to place to be would be AvidXchange career site, which is just www.avidexchange.com/careers. Matter of fact, when you apply through Handshake, it's going to route you there. So make sure that you complete your application in its entirety. Our eligibility requirements of what we're looking for, starting off with graduation dates, December 2024 to December 2025. Ooh, there's a lot of twos mixed in there. Is really what we're looking at for the target of our internship program. Enrolled in a boot camp is also an optional, because we do look at continued education. So if you are an adult learner, or even a student learner attending WGU and you're in the academy, you too would be eligible for our internship experience. We are not major specific. Some roles are going to have a heavier weight on what we're looking for from like a computer science perspective, but really for business administration, or business operations management, anything across the threshold of sales, marketing, finance, HR, human resources could fall in line. Just make sure you're looking at the requirements of the job postings, where we are asking for specific degree and majors based on the role requirements. Locations. So we are hybrid flexible. So we have 3 days in office. We are looking at site locations this year to consist of Charlotte, North Carolina, along with Salt Lake City, Utah, where within reason, we are in alignment with the intern throughout the application process that they can commit to two times travel, meaning our orientation week and our capstone project week. I am open to flexibility, and Tiffany's open to flexibility for remote. But again, there is going to need to be a commitment made on the front end throughout the hiring process that you are willing to commute and travel to Charlotte for the week of orientation and the week of the capstone project showcase. For those that are wanting to just come experience Charlotte, be in the market, we do have student housing programs that we work with our local universities that offer discounts for the summer experience. And we provide that information throughout the interview process for being considered for the role. Last but not least, our work authorization requirements. We are international student friendly. So students that may be on a F1 visa or CPT. However, there are restricted areas in where we're eligible to sponsor now or in the future for full-time roles. So I would say again, like if you are an international student on the call, know that we are employer friendly to F1 visas and CPT. However, that's only going to be within our engineering specific roles. So what to look for when you're applying online: automation engineer or software engineer. Anything that is analyst related would fall into our non-engineering categories. And for those roles specifically, you do have to have authorization to work in the United States without sponsorship needed now or in the future. And that, you all, are all of the requirements to think about when submitting your application for the internship program. I'm just going to do a quick pivot here, Tiffany, off the cuff, just to cover it. If you are applying to our full-time roles, these same requirements exist for location and work authorization. And we can always follow up with you, or if you have questions on full-time hiring needs, after today. But just know those last two requirements are the same from a location perspective, but also work authorization for our full-time hiring needs. All right, you may take application process?
Sure.
All right, so our candidate experience is our number one priority. Understanding we are in peak season, we do not forget who our customers are. So although Tiffany and I are not developing anything that touches our product, you are our customers. So Kristen and everyone on this call is really centered around the commitment that we make, which is throughout the interview process, you can expect feedback, personalized feedback, I should add, beginning at the hiring manager interview process. It is our goal that after you have spoken to a recruiter, that any touch point thereafter will be, again, personalized phone call. Doesn't always have to be Teams video, but we want you to know where you are in the hiring process at all times, which is our commitment to you as soon as you move into that process for hiring manager interviews. Whether or not you join our team, our goal is to help create a candidate experience that is positive, inclusive, as well as helpful with feedback to help you throughout your interview journey and finding the career of your aspirations. So the interview process itself is really just 4 distinct phases. You all are actually actively engaging and learning with us today. So that's really step 1 that we look for. Again, on the 29th, you will be able to submit your applications online. I would say if you're on this call today, we have a tracker. We're able to actually move your application over if we know your areas of interest. So I'll leave it up to you, because you're a special instance where you didn't have to register through our online portal to actually go in on the 29th and submit your application as soon as those go live. Tiffany or one of our technical recruiters will be a part of your initial recruiter screen. And then once they've reviewed your profile for minimum qualifications, expectations, they've looked at, any extracurricular activities you've been involved in, projects that you're listing in your resumes, they will reach out for that phone screen. So there's always a resume screen, and then there's a recruiter screen. If successful in your initial recruiter screen, you will round out with 2 final round interviews, one being with the hiring manager for the team that you have selected as your top choice of career aspirations. And then you'll also have a chance to interview with 2 to 3 teammates of the team and department that you're most interested in. So before we close out, I want to maybe stop sharing screen, but just a few wrap-ups before we turn it over to just open conversation, because I feel like we've been talking at you. I know that's what information sessions are, but we're interactive at Avid, okay? First and foremost, you will get a copy of this deck, more than likely a condensed version, because everything on who we are, our culture, that's all on our careers page. So that's like literally available to you at your fingertips. But for next steps, do make sure that you submit only 1 application based on your top choice of interest for your career aspirations. Continues to stay connected with AvidXchange teammates. That does not have to be just Tiffany and I. We have about 5 teammates that are WGU alum. So I strongly recommend combing through those LinkedIn profiles, sending them an outreach message and letting them know that you're interested in Avid. And I guarantee you, where they have time, they will actually do like a coffee chat, a lunch chat with you to better help you understand who we are and what we do. Don't just take mine and Tiffany's word for it, right? Reach out to your alum. Complete your candidate application with up-to-date and accurate information. So you will be asked to complete some questionnaires. Please do not falsify any of your information. That is an automatic declination of a resume review. So just again, make sure you're putting in up-to-date and accurate information. So that way, when the recruiter is screening they're actually validating everything to be true that you put in on your questionnaire. Stay educated and engaged with our early career program events. So if you see other information sessions that are diving deeper into our career pathways over the next couple of weeks, please feel free to join those. Product management is tomorrow. We have cybersecurity coming up next week. We have data analyst track coming up next week, and then business operations and management. So just make sure if you want to learn more about like specific career pathways that you do sign up for those events that are posted online, and they do have a registration deadline date. So get your registration in early. And then last but not least, check out our career site. And that is to make sure that you have an opportunity to view and register for upcoming department information sessions, but at the same time to complete your profile in our applicant tracking system. I guarantee you, if you stick to the best practices and you stick with the do's, you will have a successful chance of making it to at minimum the recruiter phone screen for us to learn more about you on a personalized level. And with that, I will turn it over for any open questions that you may have. And again, you can raise your hand to come off mute or use the chat to type in your questions. And my only ask is try to use relevant questions, something that maybe be centered around, like the types of roles that we have, how to best prepare for your interview. Do we have positions outside of internship? So this is your opportunity for the next, we finished this in like 30 minutes. For the next 30 minutes, if we need to take the full time to answer questions that you may have. And I'll stop sharing so we can see those of you that may be on camera. Let's see, I'm just going to comb through the chat, make sure that I've gotten everything.
I don't believe that you all showed up today with 0 questions. Kristen, are there any questions that you've gotten from any students that we can broadly answer on behalf of them?
Yeah, I was thinking through trying to remember some of our like most commonly asked questions. Of course, are there remote opportunities is always the first question that people ask. They also really like to hear, what does that career trajectory look like at AvidXchange? Maybe both of you can speak to your careers there, but a lot of our students want to be able to advance within a company. So would love to hear a little bit about AvidXchange's, philosophy on that and any development opportunities somebody would have if they were employed there.
Certainly. I think Deanna and I can both speak from different viewpoints, but for career paths, every role here has some sort of career path to grow. I mean, it's one of our mindsets of growth. We expect that our teammates are joining us and not wanting to stay still. But what growth looks like, it's dependent on each individual. And we also say that the opportunities are dependent on the teammate. So do you want to be the next VP of your function? Do you want to go in a completely lateral direction? It's really up to every individual. But I will say with that, regardless of what your interest is, the ability for you to learn about that function or role, how to get there, it's available. You just have to go seek it out. So if I'm interested in becoming a graphic designer, I can reach out to the graphic design team. take courses, shadow them, learn what it takes to get in that sort of role. But it's really dependent on me to raise my hand and go after those opportunities. We have different learning opportunities for teammates, whether that's through LinkedIn learning courses, whether it is through tuition reimbursement programs. But we have a lot of different opportunities for people to continue their education and learning how to develop. But like I said, it's always dependent upon the teammate and how hungry they are to go after it.
And Tiffany's right. We're going to have two different perspectives. So I would say for me, when I joined AvidXchange, excuse me 1 second. I've had a mint and I'm just going to take it out. So when I joined AvidXchange, we were pre-IPO. So for those of you that may not be aware what that is, it's like pre-public, right? And so we were at a completely different state in terms of like our growth year over year. And then there was also a difference in the types of roles that we needed to support our growth to get us to a public state. So I shared with you early on, I came in as a technical recruiter. At that time, we didn't have like this level structure. So you were either a technical recruiter or you were a senior recruiter, right? But over time, as we've grown, we've realized that there are a variety of career leveling. So specifically for early career talent, you typically will come in an exempt level role. So that's a salaried position at a level 1. Now, where you grow your career, and that's if you have 0 experience. Now, if you're an adult learner, you've got work experience, you've gone back to really reshape your career, which is what I did. If you look at my LinkedIn profile, I was in retail management for about 10 years. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need something different. And again, just by organizations in Charlotte, I landed in recruiting, specifically specializing in technology. It wasn't something that I actually sought out. Bring that back full circle. If you're an adult learner going back to school, we will take into consideration the years of experience that you have, along with like the acumen that you bring from the courses and curriculum that you've taken. So you don't always have to come in at a level 1. You can come in at a mid-career. You can come in at senior, you can come in at director, right? So Manu Sood is actually one of our SVPs of platform engineering, and she got her master's from WGU, right? So it's not like this one track career pathway, but you know, we do have a variety of career levels. But to Tiffany's point, really seeking out like first and foremost, let me back up. You got to know what your career goals are, right? I created my job description 2 years ago for the role that I'm in today. But that was because I was very clear in the goals that I had, the aspirations that I had, and then also recognize the business gap and problem that we had at AvidXchange. So showing your value, knowing your goals, your aspirations, all of those things will help drive your career. And I would be crazy to tell you that you have like this cookie cutter pathway to have it, because you don't. It looks different for everyone. And I'm gonna go get my battery so Tiffany can keep taking questions. I mean, my charger, okay? I want to do intros just to see who and what they're doing.
Awesome. Anybody else want to come off mute or put questions in the chat? It's not often that you get.
For any of you in right now.
Yeah, it's not often that you get to be, you know, asking, you know, kind of like an ask me anything with recruiters and people who will be looking at your application in a week or 2. So if you do have questions, now's a great time to ask.
What sort of programs are you guys learning about right now? Or are we marketing folks? Are we computer science folks? What are we learning about? Business information, I see. Business admin. Awesome. Perfect. I see Malik has a question about the capstone project and what that consists of. So broadly, what the capstone project is about is showcasing what you learned over your 9 weeks while you're here. So you're working side by side on whatever team it is that you're placed on what we said is an enterprise-wide objective. So every year our organization comes out with about 5 business goals that we want to accomplish for the year. And the project that you work on is aligned with one of those 5. So during your capstone presentation, you're showing what did you work on throughout the summer, who did you work with, and what sort of value did you drive throughout the summer with what you worked on? How did what you spent your time working on change a process at the organization? What is the impact that you expect it to make once you leave us? So again, it's not just, updating some documents and then moving on. You are working on real life stuff that our senior level teams are continuing to implement. And then the way that the interns are showcasing that is really up to them. So we have some people who want to present that information in a PowerPoint deck. We have some who have big boards and posters and how they showcase it, doing a product demonstration. It's really up to the intern to decide how they want to present what they worked on and share that information with the team. And the cool thing, like I mentioned, is it leads to a lot of engagement. So rarely do you get to show what you're working on with like the C-suite of the organization, and they're asking you one-on-one questions on what you worked on and how that drove impact to the organization. It's a huge opportunity for you to really make a name and continue to network and build relationships in the organization.
The capstone project, Malik, is like my most favorite thing of the internship experience.
Okay.
Is that Shiizm? Is that how you say your first name? You're in computer science?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, I am.
So
And
what spectrum of computer science? Because that's a pretty broad field. So tell us a little bit more about yourself.
well, so I mean, I'll start off with, so my main goal is to develop software. So to actually develop applications, but I'm one of those people that, wants to do everything. So I have an interest in cybersecurity, IoT, data analytics, and it's not just bandwagon stuff, like, oh, you want to do that? I want to do that too. No, there's an actual, a genuine interest in all these fields. But I would say the main one is software engineering, because it'll allow me to actually build applications, and then, I'll learn different technologies and frameworks that will help me in the other areas of computer science that I'm interested in.
I love
So
that. And
just long story short.
thank you for sharing. And with you saying that, I'm actually going to encourage you, like if you're free tomorrow, I think product is 12 to 1. What you're describing and having like actually being able to work with building the applications, but having a generalized understanding of cybersecurity, data, really kind of like that full spectrum of engineering or computer applications is actually the role of a product manager, right? And I think it's a new, not think I know, it's a new discipline and career pathway within the computer science field, but it's probably one of the best areas to intern in, if not software engineering, because you get to understand the customer perspective, and then you have the knowledge to actually say what the application needs to look like, because you understand application development, right? And that's actually an area that we're upskilling our current teammates to continue to drive our customer centric or customer obsessed mindset. It's not just have the engineers develop without talking to the customers. It's can they also talk to the customer, and the customer is like, hey, I want a picture of a penguin, but then the developer gives a picture of a parrot, right? That's not going to work.
No, that's not going to work.
So the product function could be an opportunity where, as an exploratory place, you actually get to learn more specifically about, application engineering, data analytics, but also cybersecurity, since that is a number one priority for us as an organization.
If I could piggyback off that too, I would say like don't put not that you did this, but anybody, don't put yourself in a box when it comes to a title. One of the really great things about AvidXchange, I've worked at a lot of places, is regardless of what your role is, if you're interested in 15 different things and you have the bandwidth for it, you are welcome to work on those 15 different things, whether that be through a meetup group, whether that be through volunteer opportunities. or just building those connections and learning about other teams. So that way you can, fill your bucket in different ways of what you enjoy doing. And we mentioned that our internship program, it's a cross-functional project. That is how AvidXchange operates. There is in no time that you will only be siloed with your team. You're going to work with teams in sales or marketing or finance, regardless of what your role is. So you'll get exposure to a lot of different things, and maybe you'll learn about something that you're interested in that you had no idea you were interested in. So really, really great opportunity for you to just kind of dive into those many things that you're interested in, regardless of what team that you would potentially be placed on.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Tim.
Dion, is this on Handshake, the product management? Do I get a Handshake link?
Yeah, it's actually going to be on, if it's not still open, I'm going to drop in my personal email because I know that one probably timed out. So if you'll just send me an email directly, because I need to get that to you today, if you're interested in the product management session, and I can get you get you the invite sent before you create a profile online.
All right. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Malik, I saw your question. Yes, we do work at the headquarters. That's where we're sitting at today. I know it looks like Deanna's sitting on her couch, but we are in our headquarter office in Charlotte today. Yes.
It was the default when I came in.
It's a good look. It's a good look. The cool thing, if you want to go sit on a couch here at HQ, you can.
Let's see. So we've got about 10 minutes. I'm just going to wrap up with the two that are, I see, Brittany, if you could just drop in your career field interest for me. I think I've seen everyone, and Matt had to drop. So those of you that are like business information, business administration, we've got a wide variety of career tracks that you could intern in. So that session, I want to say, is on the 4th, if I'm not mistaken, 4th or 6th. Of October. And what we'll cover there is just more specifically our sales function. We'll cover marketing and finance and accounting. But then at the same time, we have quite a few teams that expand across operations management, which could be project management, process improvement, risk management. So, not sure today if you've thought about specifically what areas of business administration or business information most interest you. But I would challenge you to just think through that. So then that way we can help point and guide you into the areas that would best align with your career aspirations if you're interested in continuing to learn more about who we are and applying for the internship program. All right, Kristen, I'm all about giving the gift of time back.
All of that sounds so great. Malik said the 4th at what time?
Yeah, let me just go ahead and pull from careers site.
And I'll put a link. Is all of that on the careers website, Dee? So I'll put a link to that in the email that goes out tomorrow so people can click through and register for the sessions.
Okay. I'm pretty sure they should be able to see the ones that are still active and live on Handshake, but it's going to route them to the career site anyway. So to keep from them having to do anything like duplicate, let's just route them there. And
yes, perfect.
I'm pulling that link and can drop it into the chat before we leave. That will take them directly to all listings for information sessions. And then you can send it out via email as well.
That'll be perfect. And thank you both so much. We're so excited to have AvidXchange as a partner of WGU. And thank you and appreciate your time here today chatting with everybody. I'm going to end the recording just in case somebody does have a question they want to ask off the record.